Hey there, Bikini Bottom enthusiasts. Have you ever stopped to think about how SpongeBob's iconic pineapple house is basically the fifth main character of the show? I mean, seriously, this fruity home has been through more transformations than SpongeBob has had Krabby Patty recipes rejected by health inspectors. Today, we're diving deep into the complete timeline of SpongeBob's pineapple house. We're talking about how this tropical dwelling evolved from a simple cartoon backdrop into a living, breathing symbol of our favorite, absorbent, yellow, and porous Pal's entire journey through life. From its humble beginnings in season 1 to its modern day glow up, we're covering it all. So grab your spatula, feed Gary, and let's get ready to explore every nook and cranny of 124 Conch Street. The beginning, a simple pineapple for a simple sponge. Remember Help Wanted? That very first episode that aired on May 1st, 1999, where we meet SpongeBob and he's living in this adorably quirky pineapple that somehow fell from a boat and just landed in the ocean? Yeah, marine biology? Never heard of her. But you know what? In the beautifully absurd world of Bikini Bottom, a pineapple house makes perfect sense, and we're going to explore exactly why. The origin story of the pineapple house is actually pretty fascinating if you think about it. According to the show's lore, this wasn't always SpongeBob's home. The pineapple literally fell off a ship and sank to the ocean floor, where it took root and became a fully furnished dwelling. Now, I don't know what kind of magical pineapples they're shipping in the SpongeBob universe, but I want some of those seeds for my garden. The fact that it came pre-furnished with everything SpongeBob needed is one of those delightful cartoon conveniences that we just accept because, well, it's SpongeBob. Let's talk about what makes the season 1 pineapple house so special and perfectly suited for our protagonist. The exterior design is brilliantly simple yet instantly iconic. You've got that classic pineapple texture with the crosshatch diamond pattern that any kindergartner could draw, but it works perfectly. The house is predominantly orange and yellow, warm, inviting colors that immediately tell you this is a happy place. There's the bright red-orange door that looks like it was carved right into the fruit because it was, and those circular windows that peer out like friendly eyes watching over Conch Street. The weather vane on top, pure genius. It's a small detail, but it gives the house character and makes it feel like a real home rather than just a cartoon set piece. There's also that little chimney poking out, which raises questions like, what is SpongeBob burning down there? But we'll let that slide because it's adorable. The house sits on a nice little plot with some coral formations around it, a few flowers, and that iconic sidewalk leading to the front door. It's suburban ocean living at its finest. Now, let's step inside season 1's pineapple interior, because this is where the magic really happens. The living room is the heart of the home, and it's exactly what you'd expect from someone as earnest and straightforward as early SpongeBob. There's that iconic couch, usually depicted in a reddish-brown color, where SpongeBob and Patrick have shared countless moments of friendship and stupidity. The coffee table in front of it has witnessed everything from board game marathons to existential crises about missing spatulas. The walls in season 1 are relatively bare compared to later seasons. You'll see the occasional picture frame or decoration, but it's not cluttered. This simplicity reflects SpongeBob's uncomplicated worldview at this point in the series. He's not weighed down by possessions or pretense. He's just a simple sponge with simple needs. There's beauty in that minimalism, even if it wasn't necessarily an intentional design choice by the animators. One of the most iconic features of the Pineapple House is SpongeBob's library. Yes, our boy has a library, and it's filled with important literature like How to Make Friends, various boating school manuals that clearly aren't working, but points for trying, and other self-help books that show SpongeBob's constant desire to improve himself. This library, even in season 1, tells us so much about who SpongeBob is. He's a learner, an optimist who believes that the right book can solve any problem. It's endearing and slightly naive, which is perfect for early SpongeBob. Let's talk about Gary's corner of the house. That little food bowl with Gary's name on it, the newspaper he reads because Gary is secretly more intelligent than half of Bikini Bottom, and his little bed or resting area. These elements establish that this isn't just SpongeBob's bachelor pad. This is a home he shares with his beloved pet snail. The relationship between SpongeBob and Gary is one of the purest things in the entire series, and the house design reflects that bond. Gary has his space, his routine, his place in this pineapple, and SpongeBob respects that. The kitchen area in season 1 is fairly basic. There's a stove, some countertops, cabinets for storing food, mostly Krabby Patties that SpongeBob brings home from work, and all the standard appliances you'd expect. What's interesting is how the kitchen represents SpongeBob's dual life. At work, he's a culinary master, the best fry cook in the ocean. At home, his kitchen is modest, practical, functional. He doesn't need a fancy kitchen because his real cooking happens at the Krusty Krab. The home kitchen is for sustenance, not artistry. SpongeBob's bedroom deserves its own analysis because it's peak SpongeBob personality. That diving board bed, genius. Every morning, SpongeBob literally dives into his day with enthusiasm. It's not just a bed, it's a metaphor for his approach to life. He doesn't ease into mornings, he launches into them with joy and energy. The foghorn alarm clock that wakes him up is another perfect detail. It's loud, it's obnoxious, it's impossible to sleep through, and it's exactly what someone as enthusiastic about work as SpongeBob would need. The bedroom walls in season 1 are pretty simple, usually showing a few pictures or decorations, but nothing too elaborate. There's often a porthole window that lets in that beautiful underwater light. Again, don't think too hard about underwater physics. The room feels cozy, personal, and most importantly, it feels lived in. This is where SpongeBob dreams his dreams, where he wakes up every morning ready to take on the world, where he occasionally has panic attacks about boating school tests. It's his sanctuary within his sanctuary. Now, let's discuss SpongeBob's morning routine, because it's intrinsically tied to the house and tells us so much about his character and how he interacts with his space. That foghorn alarm goes off, and SpongeBob pops out of bed with that signature laugh. I'm ready, I'm ready, I'm ready. He bounces on his diving board bed, full of energy before his feet even touch the floor. This is a guy who loves his life, and his house is designed to facilitate that joy. Next comes the bathroom sequence, and oh boy, is it elaborate. SpongeBob doesn't just brush his teeth, he conducts an orchestra of toothbrushing. Multiple toothbrushes working in perfect harmony, scrubbing every angle of his square teeth. There's toothpaste flying, water splashing, and somehow it all comes together in this beautiful routine that's both absurd and weirdly admirable. The bathroom in season 1 is functional, but also a stage for SpongeBob's theatrical morning routine. The exercise montage that follows shows SpongeBob using various parts of his house as a gym. He lifts weights, those stick arms somehow manage it. He does stretches, he gets his body ready for a hard day's work at the Krusty Krab. The house accommodates his routine perfectly. There's space for his equipment, room to move around, and everything he needs right at his fingertips. It's efficient, it's practical, and it's very season 1 SpongeBob. Then comes one of the most important parts of his morning routine, feeding Gary. SpongeBob takes this responsibility seriously. He doesn't just dump food in a bowl and walk away, he prepares Gary's meal with care, talks to him, makes sure his little buddy is happy and healthy before he leaves for work. This interaction happens in the same spot every morning, usually near the living room or kitchen area, and it's become such an iconic part of the show that fans can picture it perfectly even years later. The house as SpongeBob's sanctuary cannot be overstated. In season 1, we see a SpongeBob who is relentlessly optimistic, but also someone who needs his safe space. After a long day of dealing with Squidward's grumpiness, Mr. Krabs' cheapness, and the chaos of the Krusty Krab, SpongeBob comes home to his pineapple. It's his space, decorated exactly how he likes it, organized to his preferences, filled with the things that make him happy. No one can tell him what to do here. No one can criticize his enthusiasm or call him annoying. In his pineapple, SpongeBob is king. The episodes in season 1 really establish this sanctuary concept. In Ripped Pants, after embarrassing himself at Goo Lagoon, where does SpongeBob retreat to write his apology song? The pineapple. In Pizza Delivery, he can't wait to get home after that exhausting delivery adventure. In Nature Pants, when he decides to leave civilization, it's a big deal because he's leaving his beloved home. The house represents stability, comfort, and belonging in SpongeBob's life. What's really interesting about the season 1 pineapple is how it establishes visual consistency that would become crucial for the show's identity. The animators created a space that viewers could return to episode after episode and feel familiar with. We know this house, we know where SpongeBob's bed is, where Gary eats, where the couch sits in the living room. This consistency creates a sense of home not just for SpongeBob, but for the audience. We feel comfortable in this pineapple because we've been there so many times. The house also serves as a perfect contrast to Squidward's Easter Island head house and Patrick's Rock. Squidward's home is artistic, pretentious, and reflects his desire to be seen as cultured and sophisticated. Patrick's Rock is literally just a rock with nothing underneath it, because Patrick has no thoughts in his head. We love him anyway. SpongeBob's pineapple is the middle ground. It's quirky and fun like Patrick's living situation, but it's also a real home with rooms and furniture and organization, unlike Patrick's empty rock. This contrast helps define all 3 characters through their living spaces. The color palette of the season 1 pineapple is worth analyzing too. Those warm oranges and yellows aren't just aesthetically pleasing, they're psychologically comforting. These are colors associated with happiness, energy, and optimism. Every time we see the exterior of that pineapple, we're subconsciously reminded that this is a happy place. Even when sad or scary things happen inside, and they do, the house itself radiates positivity. It's impossible to look at that bright, cheerful pineapple and feel sad. The animators knew exactly what they were doing. The neighborhood context matters too. SpongeBob lives at 124 Conch Street, right between Squidward at 1222 and Patrick across the street. The pineapple house sits in this perfect position where SpongeBob can easily bounce between bothering Squidward and hanging out with Patrick. The physical layout of Conch Street, established firmly in Season 1, creates a sitcom-like setting where most of the domestic comedy can unfold. SpongeBob can lean out his window and yell to Patrick or accidentally blast music that infuriates Squidward next door. The house isn't isolated, it's part of a community, even if that community sometimes wishes SpongeBob would move to a different zip code. Inside jokes and Easter eggs are sprinkled throughout the Season 1 pineapple, even if they're subtle. Fans have noticed that items sometimes appear and disappear between episodes, which is normal for animated shows, but it's also kind of fun. Is that the same lamp? Did SpongeBob rearrange his furniture? These little inconsistencies actually make the house feel more real, because real people rearrange their homes, acquire new things, and change their decor. Even if it wasn't intentional, it adds to the lived-in feeling of the space. The pineapple's durability is established early on. This thing can withstand Patrick and SpongeBob's shenanigans, various explosions and disasters, and the general chaos of Bikini Bottom life. It's a sturdy pineapple. This durability is important because it means the house can be a constant in SpongeBob's life. Unlike human homes that might need repairs or renovations after major incidents, the pineapple just keeps standing. It's reliable, just like SpongeBob himself. One aspect of the house that's easy to overlook is the lighting. The underwater lighting effects in Season 1 create this beautiful, dreamy quality inside the pineapple. Light filters through the windows in these soft, diffused beams, and everything has this gentle glow. It makes the interior feel warm and inviting, like you're looking at everything through a nostalgic filter. This lighting choice, whether intentional or just a result of the animation style, makes the house feel magical. The sound design associated with the house is also iconic. The creaky sound of SpongeBob's door opening, the foghorn alarm, the various squeaks and noises that happen inside, these audio elements make the pineapple feel real. We're not just seeing a house, we're hearing it too. It has its own soundscape, its own audio identity. When you hear that foghorn alarm in any context, you immediately think of SpongeBob's morning routine in his pineapple house. By the end of Season 1, the pineapple house has been firmly established as one of the most iconic homes in television history. It's more than just where SpongeBob lives. It's a character in its own right, a symbol of his innocence and optimism, and a perfect reflection of who he is at this point in his journey. It's simple, it's cheerful, it's welcoming, and it's home. Everything that comes after, all the evolution and changes, builds on this perfect foundation that Season 1 created. The genius of the Season 1 pineapple is that it never tries to be more than it needs to be. It's not overly elaborate or trying to impress anyone. It's just a pineapple where a sponge lives with his snail, and that simplicity is beautiful. In a show full of absurdity and chaos, the pineapple house is a constant, a warm, orange, yellow constant that represents everything good about childhood cartoons and the simple joy of having a place to call your own. The house grows up, just like SpongeBob, kind of. As we transition into Seasons 2 through 5 of SpongeBob SquarePants, something really fascinating starts happening with the pineapple house. It begins to evolve, to develop layers of complexity that mirror SpongeBob's own character development during these seasons. This is where the house stops being just a setting and truly becomes a character study, a physical manifestation of SpongeBob's inner world, his aspirations, his struggles, and his growth. Let's dive deep into this transformative period of Bikini Bottom real estate history. First, let's talk about the overall animation improvements that affected the Pineapple House during these seasons. Nickelodeon was investing more money into SpongeBob as it became clear the show was a massive hit. This meant better animation quality, more detailed backgrounds, and more time spent on making every frame look polished. The Pineapple House benefited enormously from this increased budget. Suddenly, we're seeing more texture on the pineapple exterior, more intricate details in the interior, and more consistency in how rooms connect to each other. And height. The house starts feeling like a real three-dimensional space rather than a collection of separate cartoon rooms. The exterior of the pineapple in Seasons 2 to 5 shows some notable changes. The animators started adding more windows, not in every episode, but the house definitely has more visible windows than in Season 1. Sometimes you'll see a window on the side of the house that wasn't there before, or a porthole that appears in a new location. Again, some of this is cartoon inconsistency, but it also reflects a house that's being lived in. Maybe SpongeBob decided he wanted more natural light. Maybe he hired a contractor. Though knowing him, he probably tried to do it himself with disastrous results. The landscaping around the pineapple becomes more elaborate during these seasons. We start seeing more coral formations, more underwater plants, more flowers, and more definition to the art space. In season 1, the pineapple kind of just sat there on the ocean floor. By seasons 2 to 5, there's a sense that SpongeBob has been cultivating his property, making it more homey, more welcoming. There are episodes where we see him gardening, underwater gardening, because why not? And these activities leave their mark on the exterior appearance of his property. The front door becomes more of a character during these seasons too. We see it slammed more often, usually by an annoyed Squidward or a panicked SpongeBob. And we see more variations in how it's used comedically. The door starts appearing in different colors in some episodes. Sometimes it's more orange, sometimes more red, and while this might just be lighting variations, it adds to the sense that the house is alive and changing. Now, let's step inside and explore what's happening with the interior during seasons 2 to 5, because this is where things get really interesting. The living room becomes significantly more detailed and cluttered with personality. We're seeing more pictures on the walls, photos of SpongeBob and Patrick, frames with artwork, motivational posters, and various decorations that tell us more about SpongeBob's interests and values. The walls aren't bare anymore. They're filled with life. The furniture arrangement gets more complex too. That simple couch from season 1, it now has throw pillows. There are end tables with lamps on them. The coffee table has magazines, remote controls, and various knickknacks scattered across it. This isn't just set dressing. This is world building. We're seeing evidence of SpongeBob actually living in this space, not just existing in it. He's accumulated stuff over the years, or weeks, or however time works in Bikini Bottom. He's made purchases, received gifts, and gradually filled his home with the artifacts of his daily life. SpongeBob's library expands significantly during these seasons. We see more bookshelves, more books, and more variety in his reading material. Yes, he still has self-help books and boating school manuals, but now there are also books about jellyfishing, books about karate, thanks to Sandy's influence, cookbooks with advanced Krabby Patty techniques, and even some mystery novels. SpongeBob is reading more, learning more, and becoming more complex, and his library reflects that growth. It's a subtle character detail that's easy to miss, but it's there if you're paying attention. Let's talk about procrastination, which aired in season 2 and gave us one of the most detailed looks at SpongeBob's interior life, literally and figuratively, that we'd seen up to that point. In this episode, SpongeBob has to write an essay for boating school, and we spend the entire episode inside his house watching him avoid the task in increasingly creative ways. The house becomes a playground for his procrastination, and we see rooms and areas we'd never seen before or hadn't seen in such detail. His writing desk setup is fascinating. SpongeBob has a proper desk with a chair, a lamp, paper, pencils, and everything he needs to write his essay. It's a dedicated workspace, which suggests that SpongeBob takes his studying seriously enough to have a designated area for it. The desk is usually neat and organized at the start of episodes, reflecting his initial good intentions, but it quickly becomes chaotic as he gets distracted. This desk becomes a recurring element in later episodes whenever SpongeBob needs to work on something at home. The kitchen area gets a significant upgrade during seasons 2 to 5. We see more appliances, more cabinet space, and more food storage. There's a proper refrigerator now, which raises questions about underwater refrigeration, but let's not go there. And we see SpongeBob actually cooking at home more often. In one episode, he makes breakfast that's presented with his typical Krusty Krab flair, showing that he brings his work expertise home with him. The kitchen becomes more of a character space rather than just a background element. Gary's area of the house expands too. We see more evidence of Gary's sophisticated lifestyle. His newspaper reading spot is more defined, he has more toys and entertainment options, and there's even a cat-snail tower situation in some episodes where Gary has different levels to explore. SpongeBob is clearly investing in Gary's quality of life, making sure his little buddy has everything he needs. The bond between them deepens during these seasons, and the house modifications reflect that deepening relationship. The bathroom deserves special attention because it becomes the site of some of the show's most elaborate comedy sequences during these seasons. SpongeBob's toothbrushing routine, which was already pretty extra in season 1, becomes insane by seasons 2 to 5. We're talking dozens of toothbrushes, complex choreography, musical accompaniment, and enough toothpaste to supply a dental office. The bathroom itself seems to expand to accommodate these routines, with more mirrors, more counter space, and more room for SpongeBob's morning theatrical performances. SpongeBob's bedroom undergoes some interesting changes during these seasons. The diving board bed remains, thank goodness, it's too iconic to remove, but we see more personal touches added. There are more photos on the walls, sometimes a trophy shelf showing his various achievements, and more evidence of his hobbies and interests. In some episodes, we see his jellyfishing net leaning in the corner, or his karate gear hanging nearby, ready for when Sandy wants to spar. The bedroom becomes a hub for all aspects of SpongeBob's life, not just sleeping. One of the most significant developments during seasons 2 to 5 is that we start seeing more rooms and areas of the house that weren't visible before. There's an attic or upper level in some episodes, a basement area in others, and various closets and storage spaces that become important for plot purposes. Whether these spaces always existed or were added later is unclear, but their appearance suggests that the Pineapple House is bigger on the inside than it appears from the outside. It's like the TARDIS, but fruitier. The house starts reflecting SpongeBob's emotional states more clearly during these seasons. In episodes where he's happy and energetic, the house seems brighter, more colorful, more cheerful. In episodes where he's sad or stressed, the lighting becomes more muted, the colors less vibrant. This isn't just artistic license, it's a sophisticated storytelling technique that uses the house as an extension of SpongeBob's psychology. The house feels different, depending on SpongeBob's mood, almost as if it's empathizing with him. Squidville from Season 2 is an interesting episode to examine in the context of the Pineapple House. When Squidward moves to a community of other octopuses, we're reminded of how unique SpongeBob's living situation is. The Pineapple House, with all its chaos and color, stands in stark contrast to the uniform, boring houses in Squidville. SpongeBob's house has personality. It's weird, it's loud, and it's unapologetically itself, just like SpongeBob. This episode reinforces that the house isn't just a structure, it's an expression of individuality. The pineapple's resilience is tested more during these seasons too. We see it damaged by various incidents: Patrick's stupidity, explosions, natural disasters, and other Bikini Bottom chaos. But here's what's interesting. The house always recovers. Sometimes SpongeBob has to do repairs, which he approaches with his typical enthusiasm and questionable competence. And sometimes the house just seems to heal itself. It's animated logic, sure, but it also speaks to the indestructible nature of SpongeBob's optimism. His house can't stay broken because he can't stay broken. They're one and the same. Let's discuss Club SpongeBob from Season 3, where SpongeBob, Patrick, and Squidward get stranded in Kelp Forest. While the Pineapple House doesn't appear much in this episode, SpongeBob's longing for home is palpable. He misses his comfortable bed, his routine, his familiar surroundings. This episode emphasizes that the Pineapple House isn't just a place SpongeBob lives, it's part of his identity. Being away from it makes him feel incomplete, off balance, not quite himself. The house becomes more interactive during these seasons. Doors open and close more dynamically. Windows are used for more complex sight gags, and the structure itself seems to participate in the comedy more actively. In Season 1, the house was mostly a passive setting. By Seasons 2 to 5, it's an active participant in the storytelling. A window might open at just the right moment for comedic effect, or a door might slam with perfect timing. The house has comic timing, which is both weird and wonderful. Music and sound design associated with the house evolve during these seasons too. We hear more ambient sounds of the house settling, creaking, and existing. There are more sound effects associated with different rooms. The kitchen has its cooking sounds. The bathroom has its water sounds. The bedroom has its peaceful nighttime ambiance. The audio landscape of the pineapple becomes richer and more detailed, making it feel like a real, lived-in space even just from the sound design alone. SpongeBob's organizational systems become more apparent during seasons 2 to 5. We see him labeling things, creating organizational charts, and establishing systems for keeping his house in order. Yes, these systems often fall apart comedically, but their existence tells us that SpongeBob is trying to manage his increasingly complex life. He's not just a kid living in a pineapple anymore, he's an adult, sort of, trying to maintain a household, hold down a job, maintain friendships, and pursue his various hobbies and interests. The technology in the house updates too. We see SpongeBob get a computer, which becomes important in several episodes, a television that gets used more frequently, and various other electronic devices that reflect the early 2000s when these seasons aired. SpongeBob might live underwater in a pineapple, but he's keeping up with the times. These technological additions make the house feel more contemporary and relatable to the audience watching at home. The pineapple's basement, which appears in a few episodes during these seasons, deserves its own analysis. It's typically portrayed as a darker, slightly spooky space, which creates a nice contrast to the bright, cheerful upper levels of the house. The basement is where SpongeBob stores things he doesn't use regularly, where mysteries lurk, where adventures can begin. It adds verticality to the house. There's an above and a below, creating more architectural interest and storytelling possibilities. Holiday decorations become a thing during these seasons. We see SpongeBob decorate his pineapple for various Bikini Bottom holidays, with lights, ornaments, and themed decorations. This seasonal variation keeps the house feeling fresh and shows that SpongeBob celebrates life and traditions. He doesn't just exist in his house, he actively makes it festive and special for different occasions. The house becomes a calendar of sorts, marking the passage of time through decorative changes. The relationship between the three houses on Conch Street deepens during these seasons. We see more episodes that involve all three residences: SpongeBob's Pineapple, Squidward's Easter Island Head, and Patrick's Rock. The pineapple often serves as the neutral meeting ground, the place where schemes are hatched, friendships are tested, and chaos begins. Its central location, physically and narratively, makes it the hub of Conch Street activity. Lighting inside the house becomes more sophisticated during these seasons. Different rooms have different lighting moods. The bedroom is soft and gentle, perfect for sleeping. The living room is bright and energetic, ready for activities. The kitchen has task lighting for cooking. These lighting choices, whether conscious or not, make each room feel distinct and purpose-built. The house isn't just one uniform space, it's a collection of different environments, each suited for different activities. The wallpaper and wall decorations get more elaborate. We see different patterns in different rooms. Sometimes it's a simple texture, sometimes it's a pattern, sometimes it's themed to match the room's function. SpongeBob's bedroom might have a nautical theme, while the living room is more eclectic. These design choices show that SpongeBob, or the animators, is thinking about interior design, about making each space feel intentional and coherent. Let's talk about I Had an Accident from Season 3, where SpongeBob refuses to leave his house after a sandboarding accident. This episode is crucial for understanding the house's role in SpongeBob's psychology. The pineapple becomes a prison that SpongeBob creates for himself, a safety zone that he refuses to leave despite his friends' encouragement. The house, which usually represents comfort and security, becomes a symbol of fear and limitation. It's a powerful inversion that shows how the same space can mean different things depending on the character's mental state. But eventually, SpongeBob realizes that life is meant to be lived outside the house, not just inside it. The pineapple is his home base, his sanctuary, but it's not meant to be his entire world. This episode teaches an important lesson about balance. Your home should be a place of comfort, but not a place that keeps you from experiencing life. The Pineapple House, by the end of the episode, returns to its proper role, a launching pad for adventures, not a cage for avoiding them. The house's flexibility is remarkable during these seasons. It needs to accommodate whatever the plot requires. Sometimes it's small and cozy, perfect for intimate moments between SpongeBob and Gary. Other times, it's expansive and sprawling, with room for dozens of jellyfish or elaborate contraptions. This flexibility is classic cartoon logic, but it also speaks to the house's role as a storytelling device. It's not bound by realistic architectural constraints because it serves a story first and foremost. By the end of Season 5, the Pineapple House has been thoroughly established as a complex, layered space that reflects SpongeBob's journey from simple fry cook to a more well-rounded character with multiple interests, deeper relationships, and more complex emotions. The house has grown with him, literally and figuratively. It's accumulated more stuff, more rooms, more personality, and more significance. What started as a simple backdrop has become one of the most fully realized animated homes in television history, right up there with The Simpsons' house or the Griffin's place in Family Guy. The evolution during seasons 2 to 5 shows that the creators of SpongeBob SquarePants understood something crucial. Environments matter in storytelling. The Pineapple House isn't just where stories happen, it's part of the story. It shapes events, reflects emotions, and serves as a constant anchor point in SpongeBob's ever-changing world. As we move into examining the later seasons and the movies, keep in mind that everything that comes after builds on this foundation of a house that's been carefully developed to be much more than just a setting. It's a character, a symbol, and a home in the truest sense of the word. Iconic episodes when the house tells the story. Now, we're getting into some of the really meaty stuff. The episodes where the Pineapple House isn't just a backdrop or even just a character, but the central storytelling element. These are the episodes where the house itself drives the narrative, where losing it or changing it or struggling with it becomes the heart of what the episode is about. These episodes prove that the creators of SpongeBob SquarePants understood the deep emotional connection between a person or sponge and their home, and they weren't afraid to explore that connection in meaningful ways. Let's start with the big one, Home Sweet Pineapple from Season 1. This episode is absolutely foundational to understanding what the Pineapple House means to SpongeBob and, by extension, what it means to the show itself. The plot is deceptively simple. Nematodes eat SpongeBob's Pineapple House down to nothing, leaving him homeless. But the emotional journey that follows is anything but simple. When SpongeBob first discovers his house is being eaten, there's this moment of horror and helplessness that's genuinely affecting. He tries everything to stop the nematodes. He yells at them, he pleads with them, he tries to physically pull them off his house. But they're a force of nature, unstoppable and uncaring. All SpongeBob can do is watch as his home is devoured piece by piece. The animation during this sequence is particularly effective, showing the house getting smaller and smaller until there's literally nothing left but a stem sticking out of the ground. The symbolism here is pretty heavy, even for a kid's show. SpongeBob's home, his security, his identity, his safe space is being destroyed, and he's powerless to stop it. That's a scary concept for anyone, but especially for someone as emotionally dependent on routine and stability as SpongeBob. The house isn't just a building to him, it's part of who he is. Without it, he's lost. What follows is SpongeBob trying to find alternative living arrangements, and this is where the episode really shines in exploring the concept of home. First, he tries to move in with Squidward. Now, Squidward's Easter Island head house is the complete opposite of SpongeBob's Pineapple. It's cold, angular, artsy, and completely unsuited to SpongeBob's personality. Squidward's house is filled with fancy art, a proper gallery, sophisticated furniture, and a general air of pretentiousness. SpongeBob tries to fit in. He really does, but he's like a golden retriever in a museum. His natural enthusiasm and energy clash with the refined atmosphere of Squidward's home. The incompatibility is immediate and painful to watch. SpongeBob keeps knocking over Squidward's art, making noise and generally being himself in a space that has no room for someone like him. Squidward, naturally, kicks him out almost immediately. This isn't just played for laughs, though it is funny. It's showing us that not every space is right for every person. Squidward's house works for Squidward because it reflects his values and personality. SpongeBob could never be happy there because it doesn't reflect his values and personality. Next, SpongeBob tries Patrick's rock, and this sequence is both hilarious and oddly touching. Patrick's living situation is the complete opposite extreme from Squidward's. While Squidward has too much sophistication and structure, Patrick has nothing. Literally, under that rock is just ground. No furniture, no decorations, no amenities whatsoever. Patrick just sleeps directly on the ocean floor under a rock. And somehow, he's perfectly content with this arrangement because Patrick's needs are minimal and his expectations are zero. SpongeBob tries to make it work because Patrick is his best friend, and of course, Patrick welcomes him with open arms, or whatever starfish have. They have a touching moment where Patrick reassures SpongeBob that they can be homeless together. That friendship is more important than material possessions. It's sweet. But as night falls and they try to sleep on the hard ground with no shelter beyond a rock, reality sets in. This isn't sustainable. SpongeBob needs more than just companionship. He needs an actual home with walls and a bed and space for his stuff. The morning scene where SpongeBob wakes up stiff and uncomfortable, clearly having not slept well, is important. It shows that while friendship is valuable, it can't replace the basic human or sponge need for shelter and personal space. Patrick might be perfectly happy under his rock, but SpongeBob isn't Patrick. He needs something different, something that suits his specific needs and personality. One size does not fit all when it comes to homes. Feeling defeated and hopeless, SpongeBob prepares to leave Bikini Bottom entirely. This is where the episode hits its emotional climax. Without his pineapple house, SpongeBob doesn't feel like he belongs in Bikini Bottom anymore. The house wasn't just where he lived, it was his anchor to this community, his stake in this world. Without it, he's adrift, rootless, ready to leave everything behind. The fact that he's willing to abandon his job at the Krusty Krab, which he loves, his friendship with Patrick, and his entire life shows just how devastated he is by the loss of his home. But then, and this is pure SpongeBob magic, we see that the seed from the original pineapple has grown overnight into a new pineapple house. It's essentially identical to the old one, complete with all of SpongeBob's furniture and belongings somehow intact inside. Don't ask questions, just accept the cartoon magic. SpongeBob's joy at this discovery is absolutely infectious. His despair transforms into elation in an instant, and everything is right with the world again. The symbolism of the house regenerating itself is beautiful. SpongeBob's optimism and hope are so powerful that even when everything is destroyed, it can grow back. The house, like SpongeBob's spirit, is resilient and indestructible. You can knock it down, eat it away, destroy it completely, but it will always come back because it's fundamentally part of who SpongeBob is. The house and the sponge are inseparable. They're both vessels of pure, unbreakable optimism. Home Sweet Pineapple teaches us that a house becomes a home when it reflects who you are and supports who you want to be. Squidward's house works for Squidward, Patrick's rock works for Patrick, and SpongeBob's pineapple works for SpongeBob. The episode validates the importance of having a space that's truly yours, designed around your needs, filled with your personality. It's a lesson about the difference between shelter and home and why that difference matters. Now, let's move to Big Pink Loser, an episode that uses SpongeBob's house in a completely different way. While Home Sweet Pineapple was about losing the house, Big Pink Loser is about what's inside the house. Specifically, SpongeBob's massive collection of awards, trophies, certificates, and recognition for his various accomplishments. The episode starts with Patrick visiting SpongeBob's house and discovering this treasure trove of achievements covering practically every surface. The house in this episode becomes a museum of SpongeBob's perfectionism and his need to excel at everything he does. There are awards for perfect attendance, for Employee of the Month, many of these, for various competitions, for community service. You name it, SpongeBob has won recognition for it. The sheer volume of awards is overwhelming. The walls are covered, shelves are packed, surfaces are crowded. It's almost obsessive how much validation SpongeBob has accumulated. What's fascinating is how the house reflects SpongeBob's psychology here. He's not just accomplished, he's driven to be accomplished. He needs external validation to feel good about himself. Every trophy represents a moment where someone told SpongeBob he did a good job, and he saved every single one of those moments. His house has become a physical manifestation of his self-worth, measured in awards and recognition. Patrick's reaction to all these trophies is heartbreaking. He realizes he's never won anything, never been recognized for anything, and feels inferior to SpongeBob. This leads to Patrick trying to copy everything SpongeBob does in hopes of earning his own award. The contrast between their houses is stark. SpongeBob's is filled with achievements, while Patrick's rock contains nothing but Patrick. The houses reflect their different approaches to life. SpongeBob constantly strives and achieves, while Patrick just exists. The episode uses SpongeBob's house to explore themes of achievement, validation, and self-worth. It asks whether we should measure our value by our accomplishments, whether external recognition matters, and what it means to truly succeed at something. SpongeBob's house, crammed with trophies, suggests that maybe he's too focused on achievement, that perhaps he should relax a little and be more like Patrick. But then again, Patrick's complete lack of achievement isn't exactly ideal either. The episode finds a middle ground. Achievement is fine, but friendship and being genuine are more important than any trophy. By the end, Patrick earns his first trophy for doing nothing longer than anyone else, which is perfect and hilarious. But more importantly, the episode has used the two houses, SpongeBob's cluttered achievement palace and Patrick's empty rock, to explore what really matters in life. The pineapple house, with all its trophies, can't give SpongeBob what Patrick's friendship gives him. Material success means nothing without meaningful relationships. Ripped Pants is another episode where SpongeBob's house plays a crucial role, though more subtly. The episode focuses on SpongeBob's desperate attempts to get attention at Goo Lagoon by repeatedly ripping his pants, which is funny at first but quickly becomes annoying to everyone around him. When SpongeBob realizes he's pushed his friends away with his attention-seeking behavior, where does he go to process his feelings and figure out what to do? The Pineapple House. There's a scene where SpongeBob retreats to his house after his final pants-ripping stunt goes too far. He pretends to drown, which is not funny to anyone. He's alone, dejected, and forced to confront what he's done. The house becomes his refuge for self-reflection, a safe space where he can be vulnerable and honest with himself. He sits in his living room, probably on that iconic couch, and writes an apology song that he'll perform later. This pattern repeats throughout the series. When SpongeBob messes up, when he needs to think, when he needs to create something meaningful, he goes home to his pineapple. The house is his creative sanctuary, his thinking space, his emotional processing center. It's not just where he sleeps and eats, it's where he becomes his best self by reflecting on his mistakes and figuring out how to do better. The apology song he writes in his house, Ripped Pants, Yeah, Ripped Pants, becomes a vehicle for his redemption. He created something genuine and heartfelt in the safety of his home, then brought it out into the world to make amends. The house facilitated his growth as a person. It gave him the space and security he needed to be vulnerable, to admit he was wrong, and to create something that would repair his relationships. Squid's Day Off from Season 2 provides an interesting perspective on SpongeBob's house through Squidward's paranoid eyes. In this episode, Squidward leaves SpongeBob alone at the Krusty Krab, but becomes obsessed with the idea that SpongeBob is goofing off. He keeps checking back, but SpongeBob is always diligently working. Eventually, Squidward's paranoia leads him to SpongeBob's house, where he expects to find SpongeBob relaxing instead of working. But SpongeBob isn't home, he's actually at the Krusty Krab working, just like he said he would be. Squidward's assumption that SpongeBob would be at home slacking off reveals something interesting. Even Squidward understands that the Pineapple House is SpongeBob's comfort zone, the place where he goes to relax and be himself. The fact that SpongeBob isn't there, that he's actually at work being responsible, subverts expectations and shows character growth. This episode uses the house as a symbol of temptation and comfort. For most people, staying home and relaxing would be more appealing than going to work. Squidward certainly feels that way, but SpongeBob's commitment to his job is so strong that he resists the siren call of his comfortable whole pineapple home. He could be there, cozy and relaxed, but instead he chooses responsibility. The house represents what he's sacrificing to be a good employee, making his dedication even more admirable. Procrastination from Season 2 is perhaps the definitive episode about SpongeBob and his house's interior life. The entire episode takes place inside the pineapple as SpongeBob tries and fails to write an essay for boating school. The house becomes a prison of his own making, filled with distractions and excuses that prevent him from doing what he needs to do. We see SpongeBob at his desk, ready to write. The house is quiet, perfect for concentration, but then he notices the pencil needs sharpening. Then the paper isn't quite right. Then he needs a snack. Then Gary needs attention. Then the refrigerator needs cleaning. Then you get the idea. Every room of the house offers a new distraction, a new way to avoid the difficult task of writing. What's brilliant about this episode is how it uses the familiar spaces of the Pineapple House to show SpongeBob's mental state. The house, usually a source of comfort, becomes a maze of procrastination. The living room tempts him with entertainment. The kitchen offers food-based distractions. Even Gary, dear sweet Gary, becomes an excuse to avoid writing. The house that usually supports SpongeBob's happiness now enables his anxiety-driven avoidance behavior. The climax of the episode, where SpongeBob has a nightmare about being late with his essay, is genuinely unsettling. The house transforms into a surreal nightmare space where time is running out and judgment is coming. When he wakes up, the relief of realizing he still has time is palpable. The house returns to being a safe space, but now it's a safe space where he actually does his work instead of just avoiding it. By the end of procrastination, SpongeBob learns that his home should facilitate productivity when needed, not just relaxation. The house can be whatever he needs it to be. A place to unwind, yes, but also a place to focus and accomplish difficult tasks. It's a surprisingly mature lesson about making your living space work for you rather than against you. I Was a Teenage Gary from Season 1 is a weird one. even by SpongeBob standards, but it has important implications for the house. When SpongeBob transforms into a snail after Squidward accidentally injects him with snail plasma, don't ask. He experiences his house from Gary's perspective. Suddenly, everything is different. Sizes, proportions, what's important and what's not. This episode reminds us that Gary is a full resident of the Pineapple House with his own needs and perspective. The house serves 2 inhabitants, not just one, and it needs to work for both of them. Gary's food bowl, his newspaper, his litter box, his various snail amenities, these are all crucial parts of the house's function. SpongeBob might be the homeowner, but Gary is family, and the house reflects that relationship. The transformation also shows how attached SpongeBob is to his identity as a sponge living in a pineapple. When that identity is threatened by his snail transformation, he's desperate to return to normal, to return to his proper place in his proper home. The house represents normalcy, humanity, sponge-anity, and the life he's built. Without his sponge form, he can't properly relate to his house or his life. Opposite Day from Season 1 uses the house in yet another interesting way. When Squidward tries to sell his house and move away from SpongeBob, he worries that SpongeBob's annoying behavior will scare off potential buyers. He tricks SpongeBob into believing it's opposite day and that he should act the opposite of how he normally acts. This leads to SpongeBob acting grumpy and mean, which is hilarious because it's so contrary to his nature. But more importantly, for our purposes, SpongeBob and Patrick decide to help Squidward by fixing up Squidward's house while he's away. In the process, they destroy it, turning it into a chaotic mess that's more like SpongeBob's pineapple. The implication is clear. SpongeBob's house is chaotic and cluttered in a way that works for him but would be a nightmare for someone like Squidward. When SpongeBob and Patrick try to improve Squidward's house, they make it more like SpongeBob's house, which is their idea of perfection but Squidward's idea of hell. The episode reinforces that homes are deeply personal, and what works for one person might be terrible for another. Nature Pants from Season 1 shows SpongeBob voluntarily leaving his house to live with the jellyfish in Jellyfish Fields. This is significant because SpongeBob is choosing to abandon his comfortable home for what he perceives as a more authentic, natural life. The house represents civilization, routine, and modern life, while Jellyfish Fields represents freedom, nature, and simplicity. Of course, SpongeBob quickly learns that living in the wild is not as idyllic as he imagined. He misses his bed, his house, his routine, and his friends. The Pineapple House, which he took for granted, suddenly seems incredibly valuable when he doesn't have it anymore. This episode is essentially about appreciating what you have, and the house is what SpongeBob has to lose to appreciate. When SpongeBob eventually returns home, the reunion with his house is touching. He's learned that while nature has its charms, his Pineapple House provides comforts and security that he genuinely needs. The grass isn't always greener, or the kelp isn't always kelpier, and sometimes what you already have is exactly what you need. Christmas Who from Season 2 shows the Pineapple House decorated for the holidays, and it's absolutely magical. SpongeBob covers his house in lights, ornaments, and Christmas decorations with his typical over-the-top enthusiasm. The house transforms into a beacon of holiday joy, visible from far away and impossible to ignore. This episode demonstrates how the house serves as an expression of SpongeBob's emotions and excitement. When he's thrilled about something, like Christmas, the mysterious holiday he's just learned about, he transforms his house to reflect that excitement. The house becomes an outward expression of his inner joy, a way of sharing his happiness with the entire neighborhood. The decorated house also becomes a symbol of hope and belief. SpongeBob is the only one in Bikini Bottom who believes in Santa Claus, and his decorated house is physical proof of that belief. Even when everyone else thinks he's silly, his house stands as a testament to his faith and optimism. It's SpongeBob in architectural form, bright, hopeful, and impossible to ignore. Reef Blower from Season 1 is a unique episode with no dialogue, just SpongeBob using a reef blower to clean his yard. While brief, it shows SpongeBob's pride in his property and his desire to maintain his home's appearance. He's not just living in the pineapple, he's actively caring for it, maintaining it, taking pride in how it looks. This is home ownership in action. The episode also highlights the relationship between the 3 houses on Conch Street. SpongeBob's cleaning efforts inadvertently affect Squidward's yard, leading to conflict. The houses are separate but connected, and what happens at one affects the others. It's a metaphor for community living and being considerate of neighbors. Midlife Crustacean from Season 3 shows Mr. Krabs coming to SpongeBob's house for a night out, and we see the house from an older character's perspective. Mr. Krabs finds SpongeBob's youthful enthusiasm and living situation both confusing and oddly appealing. The house represents youth, energy, and a carefree attitude that Mr. Krabs has lost but momentarily recaptures. This episode reminds us that the Pineapple House isn't just a place, it's a lifestyle. Living there means embracing fun, spontaneity, and joy. It's not for everyone. Squidward would hate it, Mr. Krabs finds it bewildering, but for SpongeBob, it's perfect. The house enables and encourages his childlike wonder and enthusiasm for life. Can You Spare a Dime? From Season 3 shows Squidward moving into SpongeBob's house after quitting the Krusty Krab. This is fascinating because we see how someone else living in SpongeBob's space affects the dynamics. Squidward takes over, treating the house like a hotel and SpongeBob like a servant. The house, usually a space of joy, becomes a space of tension and conflict. What's interesting is how the house accommodates this new living arrangement. Suddenly, there's a guest room, or Squidward is using SpongeBob's couch, or taking over various spaces. The house is flexible enough to handle a second occupant, but the strain is visible. SpongeBob's routine is disrupted, his comfort is compromised, and his hospitality is tested to its limits. This episode explores the concept of boundaries and personal space. Your home is your space, and having someone else move in, even temporarily, changes everything. SpongeBob is too nice to kick Squidward out, so he suffers in his own house, which is a terrible feeling. The episode teaches that while hospitality is important, so is maintaining boundaries and not letting others take advantage of your generosity. By the time Squidward finally leaves, SpongeBob's relief is palpable. His house returns to being his space, arranged how he likes it, used for his purposes, filled with his energy. The episode reinforces that while sharing is nice, having your own space that's truly yours is essential for happiness and mental health. SB 129 from Season 1 is a Squidward-centric episode, but it has implications for SpongeBob's house too. When Squidward travels to the future and then the past, we see that SpongeBob's Pineapple House, or rather its location, has been there for a very long time and will continue to be there in the future. This suggests a kind of permanence to the spot where the pineapple sits. In the prehistoric past, there's no pineapple yet, just ocean floor. In the future, the location has evolved, but maintains some connection to the present. This episode hints that the Pineapple House is part of Bikini Bottom's destiny, a landmark that's meant to be there across time. It's a small detail, but it adds to the mythic quality of the house. It's not just a random dwelling, it's a significant location in the geography of this world. Graveyard Shift from Season 2 doesn't feature the Pineapple House much, but there's a beautiful scene at the end where SpongeBob goes home after the night shift, exhausted but satisfied. The house represents rest, safety, and the reward for hard work. After dealing with the scares and stress of the night shift and the hash-slinging slasher, coming home to his pineapple is SpongeBob's comfort and relief. This pattern of the house being a refuge after difficult experiences is consistent throughout the series. No matter what SpongeBob faces, scary customers, difficult challenges, emotional setbacks, he always has his pineapple to return to. It's his constant, his anchor, his safe harbor in the chaotic ocean of life, literally. These iconic episodes demonstrate that the Pineapple House is far more than a setting. It's a narrative device, a character study tool, a symbol of various themes: home, identity, security, comfort, and an emotional anchor for the entire series. The house tells stories, reflects character growth, and provides meaning beyond its function as a place where SpongeBob sleeps. The writers of SpongeBob SquarePants understood something crucial. People and sponges are deeply connected to their homes. Our living spaces reflect who we are, support who we want to become, and provide security in an uncertain world. By making the Pineapple House such a vital part of the show, by dedicating entire episodes to exploring what it means to SpongeBob, the creators tapped into something universal and deeply human. The movies, bigger and more cinematic. When SpongeBob made the leap from television to the big screen, everything got an upgrade. The animation quality, the scope of the adventures, the emotional stakes, and yes, the Pineapple House itself. The theatrical films presented an opportunity to showcase SpongeBob's home in ways that the TV show's budget and time constraints couldn't always accommodate. Let's explore how the Pineapple House evolved in the movies and what these changes tell us about SpongeBob's journey. The SpongeBob SquarePants movie, 2004, was the first time audiences got to see the Pineapple House in full cinematic glory, and boy, did it make an impression. From the very first scene, when the camera pans through Bikini Bottom and settles on SpongeBob's house, you can immediately see the difference in production value. The pineapple looks more three-dimensional, more textured, more real than it ever had on television. The animators took full advantage of the bigger budget and theatrical presentation to create a version of the house that felt substantial and tangible. The exterior of the pineapple in the 2004 movie features enhanced detail that's immediately noticeable. The cross-hatched diamond pattern on the pineapple skin has more depth and shadow, creating a sense of actual texture that the TV show could only hint at. The color palette is richer, the oranges are more vibrant, the yellows more golden, and the overall appearance is more polished and refined. There's better lighting too, with more sophisticated shading and highlights that make the house look like a real object existing in a three-dimensional space rather than a flat cartoon drawing. The iconic opening sequence of the 2004 movie is particularly important for understanding the house's role. We see SpongeBob wake up in his bedroom, and immediately everything feels more epic and cinematic. The alarm goes off, that same beloved foghorn sound, but the animation is smoother, more detailed, more carefully crafted. SpongeBob's morning routine unfolds with an orchestral version of the theme song playing, and every movement, every action feels more significant because we're experiencing it on a massive theater screen with surround sound. The bedroom in the movie is essentially the same as the TV show. The diving board, bed, the porthole window, the familiar layout, but everything is rendered with more care and precision. You can see individual fibers in the blanket, more detail in the wood grain of the furniture, better lighting effects as the morning light filters through the window. It's still SpongeBob's bedroom, but it's the deluxe version, the premium edition that does justice to the big screen experience. One of the most memorable scenes in the first movie involves SpongeBob getting ready for what he believes will be his promotion to manager of the Krusty Krab 2. The preparation montage that takes place in his house is absolutely delightful, showing SpongeBob trying on different ties, practicing his managerial demeanor in the mirror, and generally preparing himself for this momentous occasion. The house becomes a dressing room, a rehearsal space, and a launching pad for his dreams. What's particularly touching about the sequence is how the house facilitates SpongeBob's aspirations. He's not just getting dressed, he's transforming himself into the person he wants to be, and his house provides the private space where that transformation can happen. The mirror where he practices his speeches, the closet where he keeps his professional attire, the bathroom where he perfects his appearance. These spaces support his ambitions and dreams. The emotional core of the first movie involves SpongeBob feeling like a kid and struggling to be taken seriously by Mr. Krabs and others. When he returns home after not getting the promotion, devastated and drowning his sorrows in ice cream at Goofy Goober's, we feel his pain partially because we know what his house represents: maturity, responsibility, or independence. SpongeBob owns his own home. He has a job. He's responsible, but none of that matters if others still see him as a child. The house in the first movie represents adult responsibility and stability, which makes it even more painful when SpongeBob's maturity is questioned. He's proven he can maintain a household, care for a pet, hold down a steady job, and manage his life independently. His house is physical evidence of his capability, yet Mr. Krabs still doesn't think he's ready for management. It's a very real frustration that many young adults face, being responsible enough to handle adult responsibilities but not being given adult opportunities. Later in the movie, when SpongeBob and Patrick go on their road trip adventure to Shell City, the Pineapple House becomes something they've left behind. It represents home, safety, and the life they're risking by going on this dangerous quest. There's an unspoken understanding that they might not make it back, that this adventure could cost them everything, including their comfortable lives in Bikini Bottom. The house becomes a symbol of what they're fighting to save and return to. The climax of the first movie, while not focused on the house itself, reinforces its importance. SpongeBob and Patrick succeed in their quest, save Bikini Bottom, and earn the respect they deserved all along. When they return home, presumably to their respective houses, it's with a sense of accomplishment and validation. The house is waiting for them, unchanged, a reward for their heroism and a reminder that after grand adventures, there's no place like home. The cinematography in the 2004 movie treats the Pineapple House with more reverence and artistry than the TV show typically could. We get sweeping shots that establish the house's place in the Bikini Bottom neighborhood, intimate close-ups that highlight its unique details, and dramatic lighting that gives different scenes different emotional tones. When SpongeBob is happy, his house is bathed in warm, golden light. When he's sad, the lighting is cooler and more subdued. The house becomes an emotional barometer, reflecting SpongeBob's internal state through external visual cues. One technical achievement of the first movie that shouldn't be overlooked is how the animators made the house feel lived in and real despite the enhanced animation quality. Sometimes when productions upgrade to theatrical quality, things can feel too polished, too perfect, losing the charm of the original. But the 2004 movie manages to make the house look better without making it feel different. It's still recognizably SpongeBob's pineapple, with all its quirky charm intact, just rendered with more love and detail than ever before. Moving forward to, the SpongeBob movie, Sponge Out of Water, 2015. We see the Pineapple House in an entirely different context. This movie has a more complex narrative structure, involving time travel, a post-apocalyptic Bikini Bottom without Krabby Patties, and eventually a journey to the surface world. The house appears in different contexts throughout the film, and each appearance serves a specific narrative purpose. The 2015 movie's animation is even more advanced than the 2004 film, with richer colors, more sophisticated lighting, and more detailed textures. The Pineapple House benefits from these technical improvements, looking more vibrant and alive than ever. The orange and yellow hues practically glow off the screen, and the level of detail in every frame is remarkable. You can see individual bumps and ridges on the pineapple surface, subtle variations in color that make it look like an actual organic object, albeit one that's somehow a livable dwelling. One of the most interesting aspects of Sponge Out of Water is how it shows Bikini Bottom descending into chaos when the Krabby Patty formula disappears. The Pineapple House, usually a bastion of joy and optimism, exists in a darker, more desperate world. This contrast is visually striking. SpongeBob's bright, cheerful home standing against a backdrop of societal collapse. The house becomes a symbol of hope and normalcy in a world gone mad. There's a particularly memorable sequence where we see SpongeBob in his house during the apocalyptic period, and he's maintained his routine despite everything falling apart outside. He still does his morning routine, still feeds Gary, still approaches each day with optimism. The house enables this consistency. It's his fortress against chaos, his bubble of normalcy in an abnormal world. No matter what's happening outside, inside the pineapple, things are still okay. The movie also features some creative visual sequences, including animation style changes and surreal moments, and the house appears in some of these altered states. Sometimes it's rendered in CGI, sometimes in different artistic styles, but it always remains recognizable as SpongeBob's home. This flexibility shows how iconic the design truly is. You can render it in almost any style or format, and audiences will still immediately know what it is. The surface world sequence in Sponge Out of Water, while not directly involving the house, emphasizes what SpongeBob is fighting to return to. His home in Bikini Bottom, his comfortable life in his pineapple, his routine with Gary, all of this is threatened by the villain's schemes. The house represents everything SpongeBob loves about his life and everything he's willing to fight to protect. It's not just a building, it's his entire world. One beautiful aspect of both movies is how they never tried to improve or modernize the essential design of the house. They could have given it a flashier, more contemporary look to appeal to movie audiences, but they didn't. The house remains fundamentally the same pineapple it's always been, just rendered with more detail and care. This decision shows respect for the source material and understanding that the house doesn't need to change to be cinematic. It's already perfect. The sound design in both movies also enhances the house scenes. Every creak of the floorboards, every squeak of a door, every ambient sound contributes to making the house feel real and present. In a movie theater with surround sound, these details become immersive, making audiences feel like they're actually inside SpongeBob's pineapple. It's a level of audio sophistication that the TV show couldn't achieve, and it makes the house feel more tangible and alive. The SpongeBob movie, Sponge on the Run, out of 2020, takes yet another approach to depicting the Pineapple House. This film uses full CGI animation rather than traditional 2D animation, which represents the most radical visual departure for the house in the series' history. The transition to CGI could have been disastrous. 3D animation doesn't always capture the charm of 2D cartoons, but the animators did a remarkable job maintaining the house's essential character while utilizing new technology. In Sponge on the Run, the Pineapple House has more dimensionality than ever before. You can walk around it, theoretically, see it from any angle, and appreciate its structure as a three-dimensional object. The texture work is incredible. Every bump, ridge, and imperfection on the pineapple surface is visible and contributes to the overall aesthetic. The house looks like you could reach out and touch it. Like it's a real pineapple that's been carved into a home. The interior scenes in Sponge on the Run are particularly impressive from a technical standpoint. The CGI allows for more complex camera movements, flowing through rooms and spaces in ways that would be difficult or impossible in traditional 2D animation. We get sweeping shots that move from the living room through the kitchen and up the stairs. Yes, there are stairs now, we'll talk about that, creating a more complete sense of the house's internal geography. This movie is particularly important for the house because the plot centers on Gary being kidnapped, and much of SpongeBob's emotional journey involves his relationship with his pet snail and his home. Flashback sequences show SpongeBob and Gary's first meeting and early days together in the pineapple, giving us a kind of origin story for their household. These scenes are deeply touching, showing how Gary transformed a house into a home by filling it with companionship and love. When Gary is taken, the house becomes lonely and empty in a way we've never quite seen before. SpongeBob wanders through the rooms, remembering all the moments they shared there, and the house itself seems sad. The CGI animation allows for more nuanced lighting and atmosphere, so the house literally looks darker and less vibrant without Gary there. It's visual storytelling at its finest. We don't need dialogue to understand that the house isn't complete without both of its residents. The quest to rescue Gary becomes a quest to restore the completeness of home. SpongeBob isn't just saving his pet, he's saving his household, his domestic life, his sense of home. The movie understands that a house becomes a home through the relationships and memories created within it, and Gary is integral to what makes the pineapple a home rather than just a structure. One significant change in Sponge on the Run is how the movie expands our understanding of the house's layout. The CGI allows for more complex internal architecture, and we see rooms and spaces that didn't exist or weren't shown in previous versions. There's a more defined second floor, more elaborate room connections, and a generally more complex floor plan. Some fans might see this as continuity breaking, but it can also be viewed as the natural evolution of the house as SpongeBob has lived there longer and presumably made modifications. The movie also shows the house in different states, pristine and clean, messy and lived in, empty and lonely. These variations remind us that a house is dynamic, not static. It changes based on who's living there, what's happening in their lives, and how they're feeling. The CGI animation makes these variations more visually distinct and emotionally resonant than traditional animation might have allowed. The climax of Sponge on the Run, when SpongeBob and Gary are reunited, includes a beautiful moment where we see them returning to their pineapple home together. After all the chaos and adventure, they're back where they belong, and the house welcomes them with its familiar warmth and comfort. The movie ends with a sense of domestic restoration. Everything is back in its proper place and home is whole again. Across all three theatrical movies, the Pineapple House serves several crucial functions. First, it grounds SpongeBob's adventures in emotional reality. No matter how fantastical the plot becomes, the house reminds us of what's at stake: SpongeBob's home, his life, his sense of security and belonging. Second, it provides emotional beats where the movies can slow down and focus on character rather than plot. Scenes in the house are often quieter, more introspective, allowing for character development amid the action. Third, the house serves as a visual and emotional anchor for the audience. In movies with bigger scopes and higher stakes than TV episodes, having familiar elements like the stomped Pineapple House helps viewers stay connected to the characters and world they love. We might be watching SpongeBob have crazy adventures in exotic locations, but we know he has a home to return to, and that knowledge provides comfort and structure to the narrative. The movies also demonstrate how iconic the Pineapple House design truly is. It translates perfectly to different animation styles, from enhanced 2D to full CGI, maintaining its essential character while adapting to new technical approaches. This versatility is a mark of great design. The house concept is strong enough to survive any artistic interpretation while remaining immediately recognizable. Furthermore, the movies show how the house can be used for more sophisticated emotional storytelling. The TV show has always used the house effectively, but the movies have more time and resources to develop complex emotional arcs involving the home. Whether it's SpongeBob's frustration at not being seen as mature despite his adult responsibilities, first movie, his determination to maintain normalcy during chaos, second movie, or his desperate quest to restore his broken home, third movie, the house facilitates deeper, more nuanced storytelling. The cinematic treatment of the Pineapple House across these three films proves that this simple, iconic design has remarkable staying power and versatility. The house works in any context, at any level of animation quality, with any narrative approach. It survived the transition from TV to theatrical release, from 2D to CGI, from episodic storytelling to feature-length narratives, and it's thrived in every format. The movies also provide an interesting timeline of animation technology evolution. The 2004 movie represents the peak of traditional enhanced TV animation. The 2015 movie shows the integration of mixed animation styles and more sophisticated digital techniques. The 2020 movie fully embraces CGI, representing the current state of animation technology. Through all these changes, the Pineapple House remains constant in concept even as it evolves in execution. What's perhaps most remarkable about the house in the movies is how it manages to be both familiar and fresh. Longtime fans see their beloved pineapple rendered with more beauty and detail than ever before, while new audiences encountering SpongeBob for the first time get to experience this iconic home in its most polished form. The movies serve as both celebration and introduction, honoring the house's history while presenting it in ways that feel new and exciting. The theatrical movies also emphasize the house's role in SpongeBob's mythology. This isn't just where a character lives, it's a landmark in animated entertainment history, one of the most recognizable homes in all of television and film. The movies treat it with appropriate reverence, giving it prominent placement, beautiful visuals, and meaningful narrative roles. The house is respected and celebrated, acknowledged as a crucial element of what makes SpongeBob special. Looking at the house across all three movies, we can see a consistent evolution toward more detail, more dimensionality, and more emotional sophistication, but never at the expense of the core design and concept. The house has grown more beautiful and complex, but it hasn't fundamentally changed. It's still a pineapple, still orange and yellow, still quirky and joyful, still perfectly suited to its optimistic, enthusiastic owner. The movies demonstrate that the Pineapple House is more than a TV show set piece. It's a cinematic icon capable of carrying emotional weight in feature-length narratives. It can drive plots, symbolize themes, facilitate character development, and provide visual splendor, all while remaining true to its simple, charming origins. That's the mark of truly exceptional design and storytelling, the ability to scale up without losing what made something special in the first place. Modern day SpongeBob and the House, Season 6 current. As SpongeBob SquarePants entered its later seasons, Season 6 onward, from 2008 to the present day, the show underwent various changes in animation style, writing approach, and overall aesthetic. These changes naturally affected the Pineapple House, transforming it in subtle and not so subtle ways that reflect both technological advances in animation and shifts in the show's creative direction. Let's explore how the Pineapple House has adapted to modern SpongeBob while maintaining its essential identity and charm. The most immediately noticeable change in modern SpongeBob is the animation style itself. Starting around Season 6 and continuing through subsequent seasons, the animation became cleaner, more polished, and more digitally refined. The hand-drawn aesthetic of early seasons gave way to a sleeker, more digitally produced look. This affected everything in the show, including the Pineapple House, which suddenly appeared with crisper lines, more uniform colors, and a generally more produced appearance. The exterior of the pineapple in modern seasons is noticeably brighter and more vibrant than in earlier seasons. The oranges are more saturated, almost neon in some episodes. The yellows are more pronounced, and the overall color palette is turned up several notches. This reflects a broader trend in modern animation toward bold, eye-catching colors that pop on HD and 4K television screens. While some fans prefer the softer, more muted colors of early seasons, there's no denying that the modern Pineapple House is visually striking and impossible to miss. The texture work on the pineapple exterior has also evolved significantly in modern seasons. Where early seasons used relatively simple cross-hatching to suggest pineapple texture, modern episodes often feature more detailed, elaborate texturing that attempts to make the pineapple look more realistic or at least more three-dimensional. There's more shading, more highlight work, and more attention paid to making the house look like an actual three-dimensional object rather than a flat drawing. One significant change in modern seasons is the increased use of digital effects and enhanced lighting. The house now benefits from more sophisticated lighting techniques that weren't available or weren't used in earlier seasons. You'll see more dramatic shadows, more nuanced gradients, and more complex light sources affecting how the house appears in different scenes. Sunrise and sunset scenes, in particular, showcase more beautiful and realistic lighting effects on the pineapple's surface. The windows of the house have undergone interesting changes in modern seasons. They appear more frequently and in more consistent positions than in earlier episodes, suggesting that the show's creators have established a more definitive model of the house's exterior. The windows also feature more detailed glass effects. You can sometimes see reflections, light refraction, and other realistic glass properties that early seasons didn't show. These are small details, but they contribute to making the house feel more substantial and real. The front door, too, has been refined in modern seasons. It opens and closes with more fluid animation, and there's more consistency in its appearance from episode to episode. The color has settled into a more standardized red-orange shade, and the door's texture and details are more clearly defined. You can see the wood grain, the hardware, and other details that make it look less like a cartoon door and more like an actual door that happens to be in a cartoon. The landscaping around the pineapple has become more elaborate and detailed in modern seasons. The coral formations, underwater plants, flowers, and other elements of SpongeBob's yard are rendered with more detail and variety. Some episodes show SpongeBob actively maintaining his yard, planting new things, and generally taking pride in his property's appearance. This reflects a more mature, responsible homeowner who cares about curb appeal and property maintenance. The interior of the house has seen perhaps the most dramatic evolution in modern seasons. The living room, which was relatively simple in early seasons, has become significantly more detailed and cluttered with personality. The walls are covered with more decorations, photos, posters, and various knickknacks. The furniture is more elaborate, the couch might have more cushions, the coffee table more items on it, the bookshelves more books and objects. The room feels lived in to a degree that early seasons could only hint at. The level of background detail in modern seasons is remarkable. If you pause any given episode and examine the interior of the pineapple house, you'll find dozens of small details. Pictures on the walls, objects on shelves, books in bookcases, items scattered around that weren't there or weren't as detailed in earlier seasons. This background richness creates a sense of history and personality, suggesting that SpongeBob has been accumulating possessions and memories over the years. SpongeBob's bedroom has received particular attention in modern seasons, with more consistent and elaborate details. The diving board bed remains, of course, but the room around it has become more defined and personalized. There are more posters on the walls, more photos of friends and memories, more evidence of SpongeBob's various interests and hobbies. The room tells a story about who SpongeBob is and what he values, functioning as a character study through production design. The kitchen in modern seasons is more fully realized as a functional space. We see more appliances, more storage, more cooking implements, and generally more evidence that SpongeBob actually cooks and eats at home, beyond just bringing home Krabby Patties from work. The refrigerator is often shown with more detail, sometimes with magnets, photos, and other items attached to it. The stove, sink, and countertops all appear more realistic and functional than in earlier seasons. Gary's living space within the house has expanded and become more defined in modern seasons. His food bowl area is more elaborate, often with a dedicated feeding station. His cat, snail, tower, and various toys are more prominent and detailed. Some episodes show Gary having his own bedroom or sleeping area distinct from SpongeBob's room, suggesting a more complex household arrangement than early seasons depicted. This reflects both increased production values and a deeper appreciation for Gary as a character with his own needs and space. The bathroom, site of SpongeBob's elaborate morning routines, has become even more theatrical in modern seasons. The toothbrushing sequences are more elaborate, with more toothbrushes, more choreography, and more musical accompaniment. The bathroom itself is rendered with more detail, better defined tiles, more detailed fixtures, more realistic plumbing, as realistic as underwater plumbing can be anyway. It's become a set piece for comedy rather than just a functional room. One interesting development in modern seasons is the increased appearance of new rooms and spaces within the pineapple. We've seen a more defined attic, a clearer basement, a hallway that connects various rooms, and sometimes rooms that seem to exist purely for specific episodes' needs. Whether these rooms always existed or are being added over time is unclear, but their appearance suggests that the pineapple house is either bigger than it appears or very flexible in its internal configuration. Cartoon logic at work. The technology in the house has been updated to reflect contemporary times. SpongeBob's computer is more modern looking, his television is flatter and more HD looking, and various other electronic devices appear that wouldn't have existed when the show first aired. Some episodes show SpongeBob video chatting, using apps, or engaging with technology that reflects the current era. This keeps the show feeling contemporary rather than stuck in the late 1990s when it premiered. The furniture and decor have evolved to feel more sophisticated in modern seasons. While the house still maintains its quirky, cheerful aesthetic, there's more variety and personality in the furnishings. Different chairs, tables, lamps, and decorative items appear across episodes, suggesting either that SpongeBob updates his decor occasionally or that the production designers are having more fun with the background details. Either way, the house feels more dynamic and interesting. The use of the house as a comedic space has become more sophisticated in modern seasons. The show's writers and animators have had years to understand what works comedically with this specific space, and they exploit that knowledge fully. Jokes involving doors, windows, room transitions, and spatial relationships are more complex and carefully timed than in earlier seasons. The house isn't just where comedy happens, it's an active participant in creating comedy. Some modern episodes have experimented with showing the house from unusual angles or perspectives that early seasons rarely attempted. We might see aerial views, worm's eye views, cross-sections showing multiple floors at once, or other creative camera angles that give us fresh perspectives on a familiar space. These experimental shots add visual variety and help keep the house interesting even after hundreds of episodes. The Pineapple House's relationship to its neighborhood context has been further developed in modern seasons. We see more interaction between SpongeBob's house and the surrounding Bikini Bottom community. Neighbors visit more frequently, community events happen in the area, and the house's position within the larger town is more thoroughly established. The house isn't isolated, it's part of a living, breathing community. Modern seasons have also explored the house's history in interesting ways. Some episodes include flashbacks showing younger SpongeBob in the house, or even showing the house in earlier time periods. These glimpses into the past help build a sense of continuity and history, suggesting that the house has stories and memories beyond what we see in current episodes. It's not just a cartoon set, it has a past. The seasonal and holiday variations of the house have become more elaborate in modern seasons. When SpongeBob decorates for holidays, the decorations are more detailed, more extensive, and more visually impressive than in earlier seasons. The house might be covered in lights, ornaments, themed decorations, and other festive elements that make it a spectacle in the neighborhood. These seasonal transformations show SpongeBob's enthusiasm and his desire to celebrate life's special moments. One subtle but important change in modern seasons is the increased consistency in the house's appearance and layout. Early seasons had significant episode-to-episode variation in how rooms connected, where things were located, and what the house looked like. Modern seasons have largely standardized the house's appearance, creating a more consistent model that remains stable across episodes. This consistency helps viewers feel more familiar and comfortable with the space. The animation fluidity has improved significantly in modern seasons, and this benefits all the house-related scenes. Doors open more smoothly, characters move through spaces more naturally, and the camera flows through rooms with more grace and sophistication. The improved animation makes the house feel more like a real, three-dimensional space that characters inhabit, rather than a series of flat cartoon backgrounds. Modern seasons have also shown the house in more extreme situations and conditions. We've seen it frozen, flooded, invaded by various creatures, transformed by magic, and subjected to other extraordinary circumstances that test its resilience. Each time, the house survives because of cartoon logic, but these extreme situations allow for creative visual variations on the familiar design. The house might be covered in ice or filled with water or transformed in some other way that's visually interesting while maintaining its essential identity. The sound design associated with the house has become more sophisticated in modern seasons. There are more distinct sounds for different areas of the house: the creaking of specific floorboards, the squeak of particular doors, the ambient sounds of different rooms. This enhanced audio detail makes the house feel more tangible and real, even though we're just hearing sounds through our TVs or devices. Some modern episodes have experimented with showing the house's construction or internal structure. We might see cutaway views that reveal how the rooms stack up, where the plumbing goes, or how the house is structurally supported. These glimpses into the how of the house add a layer of pseudo-realism that's fun and interesting, even if it doesn't need to make perfect logical sense. It's a pineapple house underwater, after all. The house's role as SpongeBob's creative space has been emphasized more in modern seasons. We see him writing, drawing, crafting, and engaging in various creative activities within his home. The house facilitates his creativity, providing the space and safety for him to express himself artistically. Different areas of the house serve different creative purposes. He might write in his study area, craft in the living room, or brainstorm in his bedroom. Modern seasons have also explored the economic aspects of home ownership in ways early seasons didn't. Some episodes reference mortgage payments, property maintenance costs, utility bills, and other financial responsibilities associated with owning a home. While played for comedy, these references add a layer of adult reality to SpongeBob's situation and acknowledge that maintaining a house requires financial resources and responsibility. The house's durability and resilience remain consistent in modern seasons, but the show has become more creative about what threatens it. Natural disasters, monster attacks, science experiments gone wrong, and other extraordinary events threaten the house, but it always survives or regenerates. This indestructibility is comforting. No matter what happens, SpongeBob's home will endure, just like his spirit. One interesting aspect of the house in modern seasons is how it's been used to explore more complex emotional themes. Episodes dealing with loneliness, depression, anxiety, or other serious emotions often use the house as a setting for these explorations. The house becomes a safe space where SpongeBob can be vulnerable, where he can experience and process difficult emotions away from the judgment of others. It's his sanctuary in the truest sense. The relationship between SpongeBob and his house has deepened in modern seasons. There are episodes where he talks to his house, where he treats it almost like a living thing that has feelings and needs. This anthropomorphization of the house might seem silly, but it reflects the deep bond between a person and their home. SpongeBob doesn't just live in his house, he loves it, cares for it, and views it as part of his family. Modern seasons have also shown more of the routine maintenance and care that goes into keeping a house functional. SpongeBob is seen cleaning, repairing, painting, and generally maintaining his property. These mundane activities ground the show in reality and show that home ownership isn't just about having a cool place to live, it's about responsibility and ongoing care. SpongeBob takes these responsibilities seriously, showing maturity and dedication. The house has appeared in more varied contexts in modern seasons: dream sequences, alternate realities, time travel scenarios, and other non-standard situations. Each of these contexts provides an opportunity to show the house in a different way while maintaining its essential character. The house might look different in a dream or alternate timeline, but it's still recognizably SpongeBob's pineapple. Social media and modern communication technology have been incorporated into house scenes in recent seasons. SpongeBob might be using a tablet, checking his phone, or engaging with social media while at home. These contemporary elements keep the show feeling current and relatable to modern audiences while maintaining the timeless quality that makes SpongeBob work across generations. The house's interior design has become more thematic in certain episodes. Depending on what the episode is about, the house might be decorated or arranged to reflect that theme. If it's a sports episode, there might be more athletic equipment visible. If it's about art, there might be more art supplies and canvases around. This thematic adaptation makes the house feel responsive to SpongeBob's current interests and activities. Modern seasons have given us more glimpses of the house at different times of day, showing how it looks and feels during morning, afternoon, evening, and night. The lighting changes appropriately, creating different moods and atmospheres. Morning scenes are bright and energetic, matching SpongeBob's enthusiasm. Evening scenes are softer and calmer, suggesting rest and relaxation. Night scenes might be darker and more mysterious, setting up different kinds of stories. The house has also been used more frequently as a gathering place for SpongeBob's friends in modern seasons. Group scenes in the living room, parties, meetings, and other social events show the house functioning as a community hub. This emphasizes SpongeBob's role as a friend and host, and it shows the house's flexibility in accommodating different numbers of people and different types of activities. One significant development in modern seasons is how the show has acknowledged and celebrated the house's iconic status. There are episodes that directly reference how special and unique the Pineapple House is, how it's become a landmark in Bikini Bottom, or how it represents something important to the community. This meta-awareness adds a layer of appreciation for what the house has become in pop culture. The environmental details around the house have become richer in modern seasons. We see more marine life swimming by, more water effects, more underwater currents, and more acknowledgement of the oceanic environment. These details make Bikini Bottom feel more like an actual underwater location rather than just a cartoon town that happens to be underwater. The house exists in a more fully realized aquatic ecosystem. Modern animation techniques have allowed for more complex special effects involving the house. Explosions are more dramatic, magical transformations are more visually impressive, and extraordinary events have more visual impact. When something crazy happens to or around the house, modern episodes can depict it with more spectacle and excitement than early seasons could manage. The house's color palette shifts slightly depending on the episode's mood and tone, something modern seasons do more consciously than earlier ones. In sad or serious episodes, the colors might be slightly desaturated. In happy, energetic episodes, the colors are more vibrant and saturated. This color manipulation helps set the emotional tone and guides viewers' emotional responses. Some modern episodes have explored what it means that SpongeBob lives in a pineapple specifically, rather than any other kind of dwelling. Why a pineapple? What does it say about him? These philosophical questions add depth to what could be just a silly cartoon premise, inviting viewers to think more deeply about the show's design choices and their meanings. The house's position as the visual and emotional center of SpongeBob's world has never been stronger than in modern seasons. With hundreds of episodes of history behind it, the Pineapple House carries weight and significance that early episodes couldn't have established. Every appearance of the house now comes with decades of associations, memories, and emotional connections for longtime viewers. Modern seasons have also shown more variation in the house's exterior appearance based on weather, time of day, and season. Despite being underwater, Bikini Bottom apparently has weather and seasons. The house might look different in winter versus summer, or during a storm versus a calm day. These variations add visual interest and help episodes feel distinct from one another. The house has been featured prominently in modern merchandise, video games, and other SpongeBob media, and this commercial success has fed back into how the show depicts it. The house is recognized as one of the most valuable assets of the SpongeBob brand, and modern episodes treat it with appropriate importance and care. It's not just a background element, it's a star in its own right. Looking at the house's evolution from season 6 to the present, we can see a consistent trajectory toward more detail, more sophistication, and more emotional depth, while maintaining the essential charm and simplicity that made it work in the first place. The house has grown up along with its audience, gaining complexity and layers without losing its heart. It's still that same cheerful pineapple we met in 1999, just rendered with more love, care, and technical proficiency than ever before. Modern SpongeBob has proven that the Pineapple House concept is timeless and adaptable. It works in any animation style, with any technology, in any context. Whether rendered in classic 2D animation, enhanced digital animation, or full CGI, whether shown in standard definition or 4K, whether in a simple comedy episode or a complex emotional story, the house works. That's the mark of brilliant, enduring design. The house in modern seasons also serves as a bridge between generations of fans. Parents who watched SpongeBob as children can watch modern episodes with their own kids and recognize the same Pineapple House they loved, now presented with updated animation, but unchanged in spirit. The house is a constant across decades, connecting fans across ages and maintaining continuity in an ever-changing media landscape. As SpongeBob SquarePants continues into its third decade of production, an almost unprecedented achievement for an animated series, the Pineapple House remains as vital and important as ever. It's adapted to modern animation techniques and storytelling approaches while maintaining its essential identity. It's proven that good design transcends specific eras or technologies. The house works because the concept is sound, the execution is careful, and the emotional connection is real. Conclusion: more than just a house. So here we are at the end of our deep dive into the complete SpongeBob house timeline, and what have we learned? That this isn't just a pineapple where a cartoon sponge lives, it's a cultural icon, a symbol of optimism and resilience, a masterclass in character-driven design, and one of the most recognizable homes in entertainment history. From its simple beginnings in Season 1 as a bright, cheerful backdrop to SpongeBob's morning routine, the Pineapple House has evolved into something far more significant. It's witnessed SpongeBob's journey from eager young fry cook to Bikini Bottom legend. It's been destroyed and rebuilt, reflecting SpongeBob's own resilience in the face of adversity. It served as his creative workshop, his emotional sanctuary, his social hub, and his launching pad for countless adventures. The house has adapted to every change the show has undergone. New animation styles, different creative teams, theatrical movies, modern technology, while maintaining its essential character. That's remarkable. In an industry where designs are often updated, modernized, or completely reimagined to stay relevant, the Pineapple House has remained fundamentally unchanged since 1999 because the original design was simply perfect. You don't fix what isn't broken, and this house was never broken. What makes the Pineapple House so special is how it reflects SpongeBob's own character. It's bright and cheerful, impossible to ignore, slightly absurd, but undeniably charming, and filled with optimism even in the face of chaos. The house doesn't just contain SpongeBob, it expresses him. Every room tells you something about who he is. The diving board bed shows his enthusiasm for life. The extensive trophy collection reveals his need for validation. The well-stocked library demonstrates his desire for self-improvement, and Gary's comfortable corner shows his capacity for love and care. Throughout our exploration, we've seen how the house serves multiple narrative functions. It's a comedic space where the show's best physical humor often happens. It's an emotional anchor that grounds even the wildest adventures in relatable feelings about home and belonging. It's a symbol of stability in SpongeBob's life, the one constant that endures no matter what crazy situations he finds himself in. It's a character study tool that reveals SpongeBob's psychology through design and decoration. The episodes we examined, Home Sweet Pineapple, Big Pink Loser, Procrastination, and countless others, demonstrate that the creators of SpongeBob SquarePants understood something crucial about storytelling. Environments matter. The spaces characters inhabit shape their stories, reflect their inner lives, and create meaning beyond just providing locations for events to occur. The Pineapple House does all of this and more. The theatrical movies showed us that the house concept is strong enough to translate to different mediums and budgets. Whether rendered in enhanced 2D animation, mixed media styles, or full CGI, whether on a small TV screen or a massive theater screen, the house works. It's adaptable without losing its identity, which is exactly what great design should be. The movies also prove that the house can carry emotional weight in feature-length narratives, not just episodic television. Modern seasons have demonstrated the house's enduring relevance and continued evolution. With better animation technology, more sophisticated storytelling techniques, and decades of accumulated history, the house has become richer and more complex while staying true to its roots. It's both a time capsule preserving the spirit of late 1990s animation and a contemporary space that feels current and fresh. But beyond all the analysis of design evolution, narrative function, and cultural impact, there's something more fundamental about why the Pineapple House resonates with people. It represents a universal human need for a place to call home. We all need a space where we can be ourselves, where we feel safe and comfortable, where we can rest and recharge before facing the world again. SpongeBob's Pineapple provides that for him, and by extension, it provides that feeling for viewers too. When we watch SpongeBob return to his pineapple after a long day at the Krusty Krab, we recognize that feeling of coming home. When we see him lose his house and feel devastated, we understand that pain because we know how much our own homes mean to us. When we watch him maintain and care for his property, we see our own efforts to make our spaces comfortable and welcoming. The house connects with us because it represents something universal and deeply human, even though it's about a sponge. The Pineapple House also teaches an important lesson about individuality and authenticity. SpongeBob doesn't live in a house like everyone else's. He doesn't try to fit in with conventional housing choices. He lives in a pineapple because that's what works for him, and he's unapologetically happy about it. In a world that often pressures us to conform, to make normal choices, to fit in, The pineapple house stands as a cheerful middle finger to conformity. Be yourself, the house seems to say. Live in your pineapple. Own your weird. The house also represents the achievability of the dream of homeownership, which is increasingly out of reach for many people in the real world. SpongeBob, a minimum wage fry cook, owns his own home. He's not renting, not living with parents, he owns property. While this might be fantasy, especially given current economic realities, it's a comforting fantasy. The show presents home ownership as normal and achievable, which provides hope and aspiration for viewers who dream of having their own space someday. For children watching SpongeBob, the pineapple house represents independence and adulthood in an appealing, non-threatening way. SpongeBob has his own place, takes care of himself, and manages his own life, but he also still gets to have fun, maintain friendships, and approach life with childlike enthusiasm. The house shows that growing up doesn't mean losing your joy or creativity. You can be responsible and fun, mature and playful, adult and optimistic. The house has also become a symbol beyond the show itself. In internet culture, references to SpongeBob's pineapple house are immediately understood by millions. 124 Conch Street means something to people who've never even been to Bikini Bottom, which, makes sense because it's fictional and underwater. The house has transcended its origins as a cartoon set piece to become a cultural touchstone, a shared reference point, a piece of collective memory. In many ways, the pineapple house is the heart of SpongeBob SquarePants. While the Krusty Krab might be where SpongeBob works and pursues his professional dreams, the pineapple is where he lives, where he's vulnerable, where he's truly himself. The show could theoretically continue without the Krusty Krab, though it would be very different, but it couldn't continue without the pineapple house. That's how central it is to everything. The emotional connection fans have to this house is real and powerful. People have pineapple house tattoos, pineapple house merchandise, pineapple house decorations in their own homes. Some have even tried to recreate it in video games like Minecraft or The Sims. The house inspires creativity and affection in ways that go beyond typical fan appreciation for a TV show set. It's beloved, and that's a special kind of cultural achievement. As we look to the future of SpongeBob SquarePants, and yes, the show will continue for the foreseeable future given its enduring popularity, we can be confident that the Pineapple House will remain central to the series. It will continue to evolve with animation technology and storytelling approaches, but it will maintain its essential character. That pineapple will still be at 124 Conch Street, still bright and cheerful, still waiting for SpongeBob to come home at the end of each adventure. The house reminds us that no matter where we go, no matter what adventures we have, no matter what challenges we face, there's always home to return to. Home is where we can rest, where we can be ourselves, where we're safe and loved. SpongeBob has that in his pineapple, and in watching him appreciate and care for his home, we're reminded to appreciate our own. So what do you think? Has this deep dive into the Pineapple House timeline changed how you see SpongeBob's home? Have you noticed details about the house you'd never paid attention to before? What's your favorite moment involving the Pineapple House? Maybe it's a specific episode, a particular scene, or just a small detail that always makes you smile. Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Share your favorite Pineapple House memories, debate about which version of the house is best, or just tell us how SpongeBob's home has impacted your own view of the show. And if you're feeling really generous, hit that like button to show this pineapple some love, and subscribe to our channel for more deep dives into the things we love about SpongeBob SquarePants and animated entertainment in general. Remember, whether you live in a pineapple under the sea, a regular house on land, an apartment in the city, or anywhere else, home is what you make it. Take a page from SpongeBob's book. Fill your space with things that make you happy, maintain it with care, share it with those you love, and approach each day with enthusiasm. That's the real lesson of the Pineapple House. Now, if you'll excuse me, I need to go check real estate listings for available pineapples in my area. Just in case. Because after spending all this time thinking about SpongeBob's house, I'm convinced that living in a fruit might actually be a great life choice. The neighbors might think I'm weird, but hey, if it's good enough for the best fry cook in Bikini Bottom, it's good enough for me. I'm ready. Are you?